everybody, June 17, and welcome to Partner News Live, where, as usual, I have my favorite co-presenter, Shelley Stapp. Hi, Shelley.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I am doing just great. You know, this is the time where I always forget to ask you to talk about our sponsors. Would you like to lead with telling everyone about our sponsors?
Yes, I sure would. Neil, our sponsors are Team Texas, based very close to Dallas Fort Worth Airport. Team Texas will arrange an amazing day out for you, your staff, or your business customers or prospects. So, David Starr is very knowledgeable of all the Verizon products and services and is the best spokesman you could ever wish for. He and his co owner, Kim, will create an event tailored specifically to your needs and wishes. As a Connect Us partner, they will give you a special price and a fantastic service. So I will continue with right now, Verizon.
Weeks again from Total Recall. By the way, I love just saying duh. Yeah, I know a lot of these offers are very repetitive, are they not? It's hilarious. Thank you for covering that nice and early
Yes.
in our webcast and getting them out of the way. Coming up shortly, everybody, we've got Brandon Hagman, not a recording, the real Brandon Hagman in real time telling us more about the hub. And of course, that fantastic API that's making life so much easier for everybody. So we'll have him in just a moment. Following on over that, we are going to have Kyle Orsburn from Kings 3, and he is going to be telling us about a wonderful new opportunity for cross-selling and upselling communications from places where people might need to ask for help. For example,
Mhm.
someone in a wheelchair stuck in a building on the third floor can't use the stairs, can't use the elevator. They press the button and they get connected to an emergency help number so someone can come and rescue them. Yeah, so that'll be Kyle following on after we speak to Brandon Hagman. So I'm thinking to myself right now, Shelley, why don't we just invite Brandon to come on now?
Sounds great.
Brandon Hagman, so good to see you. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Neil. How are you?
I know I'm really happy. It's been a long time since we've been able to speak to each other like this because I mean it's been a busy year so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we're loving the growth on our side.
Good.
So yeah,
And we've heard about the hub, several times now, especially as it is being developed. But I mean, you are the main man with the hub. Just for those who've kind of sort of forgotten, or shame on you not using it yet. Just let us know, why did we decide at Connectus to ask Verizon for permission to go ahead with the hub?
yeah. So our hub is our own creation, which is amazing. So we have the option to make it our own. And so with the development team on our side, we've been able to make this a true CPN for our partners. And really, with the implementation of the Verizon Hub, it allows us to get information to our partners and their customers super fast, which is amazing. So there's a couple bits of information that are required to be entered into the system. And, as long as that stuff is entered in, the API from Verizon takes over and you're going to get the information for your order as quickly as as it pops up in the Verizon system. So, you know, manually on our side, we've been putting all of that information in to the hub and team support in the past. And so what this allows us to do is, put that kind of on the partner side. If you all provide that information in the system, it will automatically pull the information without us doing much of anything. So,
No.
really the main advantage here is with Verizon and our system communicating, the information transfer is automatic, which is amazing for everybody using it.
Yeah, just to be clear, we're not moving the effort from Connectus back office staff to the partners. We're reducing the amount of effort essentially for everybody. So if I
Absolutely.
remember, we're talking about an application programming interface and an API. So it's a direct connection between the hub and the Verizon ordering system. So when you say that the partners need to do a couple of things, I mean, we're talking about what, three lines of information just to identify themselves, yeah?
Yep, 100%. So as soon as you log into the hub and submit a ticket, it will automatically put the order in the correct location code. So during the order entry process, we ask for an opportunity ID to be entered in, an order ID, and a cart ID. All of that information is available to you during the order. So you're going to have that information available to you as you're processing the order. It's a quick copy and paste into the ticket in the CPN hub. As soon as you submit it, that's the only information that we need from you all with the screenshots of the order. As soon as you send that over, the Verizon API will take over and get that information about the order as quickly as possible as soon as it pops up in their system. So it's an amazing advance in the CPN hub. If that information is not given to us during the order, there's a lot of orders that we process on our side. That information can't be gathered until the order is actually processed. So, everybody on our side of the operations side of Connect Us, all of our wireless support specialists will be grabbing that information and putting it into the order for you. So, if there's ever a problem of getting the information, not being able to put it in, no worries at all. We'll put the information in there for you. The API will still take over and get that information to you as quickly as possible.
No, that's so good. So CPN, of course, is the Connectors Partner Network. So CPN Hub, yeah. But I mean, just this is just streamlining everything so much easier. And yes, it makes it simpler for our partners to enter orders, but it also is getting rid of the occasional potential logjam, on a Friday late afternoon as our back office staff are trying to make sure that every single order goes in as fast as possible to make sure, yeah, that your business customer gets what they require as soon as possible, and there's never going to be that little hiccup in the system that we saw very, very occasionally in the past.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, say we, that's the royal we. It's actually all on you and your staff. I had nothing to do with this. I just like to take the credit. Can you
All right,
tell?
there you go.
You know, have you been getting feedback from our partners who are already using it?
Oh yeah, 100%. So we rely heavily on that feedback, and we appreciate as many people as can bring in information to us. We always welcome it. So overwhelmingly positive for the CPN hub, which is amazing. We are making strides and improvements really daily. We're sending information to the developers of the CPN hub. They're taking our information and feedback, and we're going to progressively be making the CPN hub better as we go. So any feedback you have, good, bad, and different, please let us know anything that we can do to improve the system. We've got a lot of things in works and in progress, like I said, to make this the best that it can be for us internally, for our partners, and ultimately to give you guys the best customer experience possible with the CPN hub.
Fantastic. Talking about the best customer experience, you shared with me this is a live view you've got just now. So obviously
Yep.
you can't take us through a real order because we'd be potentially showing people someone else's orders, and we don't
Yeah.
want anyone poaching anyone else's business. But I mean, just give us an idea. There's a lot of lines that I can see up here on the screen
Yeah.
just now. But our partner doesn't have to fill in every single one of these. What might they fill in typically?
Right. So if you are keying your own orders, or even just sending an order for us to key, as soon as you log in, like I said, it's going to put that in the correct location code. If you ever see this is different for you and you don't see your proper location code, please let us know. We can get that fixed. Obviously, you're going to be picking the order type that is just new, upgrade, whatever it is that you're sending to us. The business name, you can give us a quick name of the company we're working with, but the API is really going to be working with these three criteria: the opportunity ID, which you all should have for the business you're working with. The order ID is given at the final screen whenever the order is processed. And then the cart ID is visible as soon as you get past the credit screen. It should be on the top left of the screen as you go through the order. So those three criteria and the location code are what kind of triggers the API to work. Of course, if you are submitting your own orders that you all are processing, upon submitting the ticket, you'll have the options over on this side to attach any of the screenshots for your order. And we always appreciate you all doing that. And that's for our records. But primarily with the API, those three lines of data are the main ones to attach. And then Neil, as you said, if they put an order Thursday, Friday, something like that, the weekends are free of any of our folks coming in and working. So if that information is needed at any point in time, you could log into the hub. If the API has that information, it's going to automatically update. You all would be able to give your customer the tracking information for that order as soon as it populates in Verizon system.
Oh, fantastic. Brandon, listen, you know, folks are going to want to review this. There will be a recording. Obviously, we're transmitting this live right at the minute. There will be a recording VOD. There always is of Partner News Live, and some of them, by the way, we actually put up on YouTube as well. But having said that, we censor proprietary information. But you know, our partners, if they have questions, if they just don't quite have the confidence to put in, every single line there, who's the best person at Connectus to get in touch with?
You can always reach out to me, Karina. We're the manager presence here throughout the entire day. As you submit an order, it's going to be given to one of our wireless support specialists. Their name will be on that ticket. You can reach out to any of us at any point in time. We're more than happy to get on a screen share, walk you through the process, make sure that you're confident going forward.
Fantastic. Brandon Hagman, thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. Good talking to you.
So, Shelley, I don't know about you. I'm real happy to see Brandon. It's been a while since we've had him live on Partner News Live.
Yes, that was great. That was very informative.
Fantastic. Listen, I know you may have a question or two for Kings 3 as well. So I'm going to go over and I think we'll speak again live with Kyle. And, give me a little indicator, do your little thing that no one else sees. And we'll bring you in to ask your question or two of Kyle in just a moment. Okay?
Great. That sounds good.
Kyle Orsburn, great to see you, man.
You as well, Neil. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we met face to face. Yeah, that was in Vegas that time as well, wasn't it?
Yes. Yep. Back at Channel Partners 2025.
Fantastic. Yeah. So obviously I'm very familiar with Kings 3 because we've had loads of conversations over the last several years. But just for any new partners, new viewers, tell us about Kings 3, please.
Yeah. So we do kind of certainly a unique offering to the channel, a one of one, if you will, and somewhat of a one of one offering to just all customers in the country. So we do strictly two-way emergency communications, and where would that be? Vast majority is going to be elevators. We've also got public swimming pools and AOR, area of refuge, parking garages, you name it, anywhere out there in the wild within our country that has a two-way communication, emergency phone, whether it's very strictly regulated by code and enforced, such as elevators, maybe somewhat back and forth depending on the state on on pool phones, or maybe in places like fitness centers that there's, to my knowledge, no code or requirement around, but just a something to boost the tenant experience and the property safety.
Now, I've seen obviously the telephone in the pool, in hotels, etc. I have never heard the expression area of refuge. Could you tell us a little bit more? What does that mean?
Yeah, so in short, AOR, we'll shorten it to area of refuge or rescue. Traditionally, it's going to be found in the elevator lobbies, and some buildings have them, some are required, some do, some don't. So if it's there, we can help, very likely. But what it is going to be either in the elevator lobbies on each floor and or the stairwells of each floor. And what's the purpose? Think somebody in a wheelchair. There's a fire. There's some type of emergency at the building. We'll say fire for this instance. You can't use the elevators. Fire marshals, fire department's going to be using those. If you're in a wheelchair, or we'll just use that example. You can't take the stairs. You can't take the elevator. Now what? There's area of refuge or rescue. There's going to be a phone there in the elevator lobby or the stairwell that somebody in that situation would be able to use. So very similar to the elevator or the pool phone, if you will, just another area for them to be and regulated by code.
So we want to make sure that we're not just talking about an ordinary POTS replacement system here. We're talking about a system that's very specific, has to be guaranteed, and it could be a code requirement, or it may be a requirement just of the building owners, the building managers, because obviously they don't want anyone trapped and left behind.
Yeah, something like most all of this is the vast majority, I want to say, is going to be regulated by code, and 99% of
Okay,
the
okay.
phones that we service, and I'll get into everything that we do there, but in short, 99+% of the phones that we service are going to be regulated by code. It's just, the one-off either property or management company that says, we see the value for roughly $70 a month, we would like a phone in our fitness centers, or anywhere else that's not regulated by code. Another example for not regulated by code, which may pull my 99% down just a smidge, is pool phones. And states like Florida, that still, I believe, leads the nation in drownings, does not have a pool phone law. That does not mean
Whoa.
that we don't have thousands of phones throughout the state of Florida, because it just makes sense. I don't know
Really?
exactly how many states do not have pool phone laws. I believe the vast majority do, but California is kind of in a gray area. But right now, they do not require it. Florida does not require it. I see it. We see it as certainly an issue slash opportunity, but
Mm,
nonetheless, we have emergency pool phones and fitness center phones and others all through the country where it's not required by code. But again, the main focus here, and especially in the channel, is going to be that POTS replacement is what it starts with. And then we come in with essentially a solution that is far more
mm.
than just dial tone. And that's really probably what we should hammer into a little bit, is what makes you different from UMA? What makes you different from insert POTS replacement company?
Yes.
Uh, and in short, the answer there is that's just dial tone. I like to say that dial tone never saved anybody's life. You need dial tone. Dial tone's in the middle to connect this person to this person.
Yes, yes.
We need working phone hardware and everything, configurations and everything on this side. And then we need a beyond capable monitoring company entity that answers the phone and provides AED instructions, CPR. My water broke in the elevator and I need help. We've helped remotely deliver babies, if you will, in elevator
Mm.
entrapments. So whatever the case may be, dial tone only makes that connection. We still need a full solution for somebody in distress or in an emergency to get the proper help that they need. And
I'm
that's
with
what
you.
Team 3 does under one roof.
I'm with you, Kyle. Let me play the part of the layperson or the idiot. By the way, I'm pretty good at playing the idiot. It comes quite naturally to me. So
Sure.
when you're talking about picking up, when you pay, talking about picking up a phone and there being a dial tone, it would mean that someone would actually have to take the time to dial 911 and speak to a dispatcher. And on the other hand, some people would assume that if they're in the hotel, in the swimming pool, and they're picking up the phone there, they're going to be ringing reception. They're going to be pressing a zero or something like that. We're not talking about this. We're talking about a one-to-one connection with an expert, with somebody that is ready and prepared for an emergency situation.
Certainly. And yeah, that actually leads perfectly into traditionally. I'll take you back, 100 years even. We've got copper phone lines that
Yes.
service elevator, the everything, the fire alarms, which we don't do, by the way. Can't help with fire panels whatsoever.
No,
I
it's
wish I
fair.
could.
No, it's fair. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do so traditionally. It takes three parts for a full baked solution. We've got the dial tone in the middle, copper phone line.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, we're doing cellular now. 99% of our installs are now cellular. It's the industry standard and in the future, what we believe. But so we've got dial tone. We do that. Everybody does that. We are not a dial tone company yet. Of course, we can provide dial tone because it's needed, and then cellular because we're replacing pots. And again, it's the future. We all know that. You
Yes.
need phone hardware in the elevator. You need a physical phone, really, a speaker and a microphone. There's no handset. Well, there are. Uh, the modern and future elevator, they don't have handsets anymore. It's just a hands-free push button. Everything's done for you. So we have a, in short, layman's terms, we have a phone in the elevator that needs to work. Um, Traditionally, that has always and still is done by the elevator company outside of Kings 3. If you're not a Kings 3 customer, your elevator service company is the only one that can essentially touch that phone, work on it, troubleshoot, whatever that may be. And then over here, we have the monitoring entity, which, like you said, front desk, 911, elevator company often traditionally has taken these calls. Code doesn't specify who has to answer the call. In layman's terms, a warm body who can help must answer the call. Um, so you can see where we have this three-part solution that has traditionally been done by elevator company, typically, telecom agency or just straight to the carrier, and then monitoring entity. Is it the front desk? Is it 911? Whomever. And we do all of that again under one roof. We are a licensed elevator company with about 100 technicians around the country. We are an authorized central station. So we are like 911 on steroids, if you will, but also existing for one thing and one thing only, to answer and help and dispatch the calls that come into our emergency dispatch center from our customers, nothing else.
Kyle, I know that Kings 3 has got a number of competitors that offer at least part of this kind of solution. What I'd like to ask you next is that when our partners are pitching your solutions to their existing customers, trying to upsell or indeed trying to sell to a new customer, what sort of things should they lead with? What's the big differentiators for Kings 3 over the others, shall we say?
Yeah. So really, it's not an apples to apples comparison. It's not an apples to oranges comparison. It's a, apples to filet mignon comparison, if you will, because we've got, again, traditionally, and even to this day, if you're not a Kings 3 customer outside of the big four elevator companies, we call them, they've got, of course, an answer for all of this. And we can, I would welcome any agent to, get with me and dive into. There's so many areas in this in this high level conversation that I would love to dive into for an hour, this being one of them. But in short, we are the only provider, again, outside of the big four elevator companies, who have, we'll say, solutions for this,
Mhm.
that has a full baked solution, a turnkey solution. There's no other company like this that does what we do or how we do it, period. Um, and again, we are taking three pieces, three big rocks, and doing it under one roof. So the main value, and really who we are, as a monitoring company, we've been doing this for 40 years. We are the ones that answer the phone and help people in distress. That's what we're best at. So that, first and foremost, we're a monitoring company. We've morphed over the 40 years to become that full turnkey provider. Because when we started back in the late 80s, all we did was answer phones and dispatch. Fast forward today, we can confidently say that nobody does what we do. Now, will that be the case for the next 5, 10 years? I don't know. But as of now, I can confidently say that we are very unique. So, along with I'll just kind of paint the high level picture beyond what I've done here. Um, Starting with the elevator phone hardware, like I said, you either work with Kings 3 or your elevator company for that. If you're a Kings 3 customer, it's covered. If not, you must work with a licensed elevator company, because code requirements, getting behind the panel, all of that. So your typical elevator company agreement, you get a phone that's got a 1 year warranty. Anything beyond that is almost always going to be $400 or $500 an hour, sometimes billed half or full days. Easy to say, it's going to be a $2,000 service call just for any sort of troubleshooting, replacing that phone, because the phone itself is cheap. They put cheap phones in there. That's why they got a 1 year warranty. But it's a $2,000 visit, national average, $2,000-$3,000 visit if the phone's not working. And then it often becomes a finger pointing battle. The elevator company says, it's not our phone, it's dial tone or something else. It's not us, it's them. And then the carrier comes out or the agent comes out and finds it. It's not on us. There's dial tone, there's connectivity. It's on the elevator company. And then we have weeks and finger pointing. Weeks go by, finger pointing, thousands of dollars. Kings 3 just says, we're going to put our own phone in there, this industrial grade phone that we've developed. We're going to guarantee it for life. You don't pay for it up front. It's got a lifetime warranty. We don't charge to install it. It's just how we work. Everything that we do is just a monthly price per unit, per elevator, per fool, if you will. We don't charge for hardware. We don't charge for install. We do the lifetime warranty, and it comes with, of course, the monitoring.
So, Kyle, I know that Kings 3's got a number of competitors who can offer partial solutions, maybe just the elevators or the swimming pool or similar circumstances, but you've got turnkey solutions for many, many situations. Tell us a little bit more. How can our partners differentiate this during a first meeting with their business prospect?
Yeah. When I focus on partial solution providers, it's really the fact that it takes an elevator company for who doesn't do dial tone, an elevator company, for example, let's just focus on elevators. They do the elevator phone hardware itself. They with that, that's a partial solution for the emergency phone. They can do the hardware. That's it. And they're the only ones that can do the hardware outside of us because it takes a licensed elevator company with a licensed tech. The connectivity piece, again, partial solution provider. You're I like to say UMA because they're one of the hotter ones in the market right now. But you name it, POTS replacement, VoIP with an asterisk, not recommended at the moment to do VoIP. It's not, we'll say, elevator code compliant out of the box. There's just a lot of configuration and things that need ongoing effort to make sure that VoIP works. But whatever that be, connectivity,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a provider for that. Monitoring, you've got a provider for that. Sometimes the elevator company might do some monitoring. Just to give you a little insight on that, there are roughly 500 um, independent elevator companies around the country that no longer want to touch the phones. They send 100% of their phone related business to Kings 3. That was a business that they had always traditionally been in because they kind of had to, in some sense, because somebody had to monitor. Um, However, that is, again, the phones. If you talk to any elevator guy and you mention the phone, they're going to almost always roll their eyes and scuff because they don't want to do it anymore. So we are partnered again with 500 or so independent elevator companies around the country. Um, Again, they see the value in Kings 3. They also don't want the business anymore. But that's not to say that some are out there still answering emergency calls, whether it's, Bob's Elevators front desk or maybe a bit more mature regional or national player. It's still an elevator company answering any sort of emergency call, if you will.
I'm with you. Fantastic. Hey, I've got Shelley Watts would like to ask you a question too.
Sure.
Hey, Shelley,
Hey
what
there.
question do you have for Kyle?
Yes, so I hear you're the top 100 Texas employer. So that's a wonderful fact for Kings 2. Can you tell me some fun facts? Can you share some fun facts?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, we are a top 100 Texas employer, which is pretty special. We are about 400 employees now. Been doing this for almost 40 years. Not me, I'm not 40, but the company's been around almost 40 years doing this and growing and maturing and advancing and perfecting our offering. But yeah, we're about 400 people. Let's see, we handle around 2.5 million calls a year, which is pretty wild. Emergency, 100% emergency phone calls. That's all we answer. And yeah, a little over 2 million a year. Um, let's see, we officially service. I think just recently we can say we officially service all 50 states. We have placed a phone in Alaska to seal that um, comment.
Wonderful. That's amazing.
the primary thing that we do as a company is we mitigate risk and liability for customers. It's not about saving money or modernizing or getting a lifetime warranty or anything. What it comes down to is saving lives and mitigating risk and liability for properties. And that
That's
is what the main value to your agents is going to be, is anybody that brings Kings 3 in. I mean, our average customer tenure, I think, is nearing in 20 years. Once we work with a customer, a management company, whomever, we very rarely part ways. So you are, if you have true consultants and trusted advisors out there, if they bring in Kings 3 and we work with those folks so they truly understand their current risks and liabilities that exist that they don't know about, that we solve with this turnkey solution, um, that is really what it's all about. And one other little fun fact I should mention, that's not necessarily fun, if you will, when I say it, but still to this very moment, 50%, half of the emergency phones, elevator, pool, you name it, that our 100 or so sellers around the country are testing and our technicians are testing, um, do not work right now. And that's not Kings 3 customers. This is all prospective properties that we are going and doing site surveys, and test calls. 50% of them, flat number, don't work, whether it's a hardware issue, a dial tone issue, a configuration, a monitoring issue. um, that's not for us to say in every situation, but yeah, 50% of the emergency phones in our country right now are not going to get you help if you need it.
Wow.
Which I should also add on to, there's 100 value points, that we bring to customers, but two main ones that really set us apart are, what happens if the entrapped person or the person with a poolside emergency, whatever it be, doesn't speak English or potentially Spanish as their first language? Who's going to help them with any other monitoring company that they have? um, Kings 3 has an answer for that, of course, because we've thought of that many times over the decades. We partner with a third party that does live language translation in up to, I don't know, a few hundred languages and dialects. So that's one. And then we record and timestamp and digitally store forever every single one of those 2+ million calls that comes into our emergency dispatch center every year. So whether litigation arises or the property is just curious as to what was said, we limit the he said, she says, and say, why don't you listen for yourselves?
Right. That's
a
awesome.
great coverage, a great coverage for
Mhm.
potential liability. Excellent. Perfect, perfect. Listen, we'll make sure that your contact details go into an email sent out by Rick. For those of you who are watching the recording of this, either VOD, video on demand on My Connectus, or indeed watching it on YouTube, we'll make sure we add Kyle's contact details in there. Before you go, though, Kyle, when we were talking earlier, before we went on the air, you said you had so much information, more technical deep diving. I wonder, can I invite you back to do a winner's circle, and we can actually start going down into the weeds, the more technical details of exactly what King Street can do under certain
Please.
circumstances? That
Yes, I would love that, because there's things
perfect.
like the 2019 video code that I haven't, that is a true can
Yeah.
of worms, that affects 40, a true can of worms that affects 40 some states now. And that's another 24-hour topic, but there's video code,
uh,
there's
Perfect.
all sorts of deep dives that I would love to get engaged with your community.
You betcha. Well, Shelley and I love opening cans of worms, don't we, Shelley?
Oh,
So,
you're yes.
so, so Kyle Orsburn, thank you so much for being on, and we
Of
look
course.
forward to chatting with you again real soon.
Yeah. Thank you all for having
Great.
me. I do
Thank
appreciate it. See you soon.
Shelley, here we are once again at the end of the show. I am going camping this coming weekend with Trail Life. Ian and I will be with all the boys and men going out into the hills. We're going to be doing, well, we'll be tent camping. We're doing a lot of hill
Ah,
walking and fishing. How about tent camping? Not everybody likes it. We do.
Now, I did it as a kid, and it was okay, but my mom, when we were before we got in the tent, she would make my dad go in and make sure there weren't any bugs before she would even get in the tent.
Oh no,
Yeah.
that I can understand. It's such a pain if you get a moth. You know, if you leave the door of the tent open with the lamp hanging up, you know, there's always some kind of moth. And then just as you're settling down to get to sleep, the moth starts fluttering around and making tons of noise. So
Yes.
yes, I can understand that. Never worried about
We
biting
were in,
insects
we
and that
were
sort of
we're
thing.
actually in the mountains, so we actually had to worry about animals more than make sure your garbage wasn't near the tent, and so there was that too.
That,
But
that.
it's good memories, just not my favorite for tent camping.
No, I can understand that. There are several areas here where we're not allowed to tent camp because of
Hmm.
bears. Yeah,
Yeah.
one has to be inside a hard-sided RV or even inside a log cabin. Yes,
Yes.
because of course they come and they try to get to the food. They try to
Yes.
get to the food. You know, they don't intend any harm, but
I've
can
saw
accidentally.
yep,
Yeah.
up in the mountains in the RV. We sighted 7 bears.
Oh my goodness me.
Yeah.
Well, listen, time is up. Thank you both to Brandon and to Kyle and to you, Shelley, as well. Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll be back on July the 1st, and it's with Mike Alfieri of CSG. So I look forward to seeing you all, and you too, Shelley, on
Yeah.
July the 1st. Y'all take care.
Bye bye. Thanks.